Halo, halo, z tej strony Martyna Skóra, a to jest mój podcast LifeIn20kg. Zachęcam Was do śledzenia moich social media, szczególnie Instagrama i subskrybowania mojego podcastu, abyście regularnie dowiadywali się o moich działaniach i gdzie przebywam. Ostatni rok spędziłam na Malediwach i szczerze mówiąc trochę zaniedbałam ten podcast, ale wracam już do Was dzisiaj z podcastem właśnie na temat Malediwów. Kiedyś obiecałam Wam, że powiem Wam więcej o ochronie środowiska. I dzisiaj moim gościem jest założycielka organizacji Zero Waste Maldives i będziemy rozmawiały o ochronie środowiska na Malediwach. Podcast wyjątkowo będzie po angielsku. Zapraszam do słuchania. Okay, so that was my Polish introduction. May I ask you to introduce yourself?
Okay, so I'm Hamsha. I'm one of the co-founders of Zero Waste Maldives, and my partner's name is Afra, and he is also a very important, actually, one of the co-founders. So he's
it's only two of you.
Yeah, it's mostly two of us, but we get help during when we have different kinds of projects. We just hire people to help us with. Right now, we don't have a lot of volunteers, but we manage with our friends, family, and people who are interested to support us.
Mm-hmm. So what is your organization actually doing? What is your mission and what are your activities?
Yes, Zero Waste Maldives actually started at around 2018, late 2018, but we officially got registered as an NGO around 2019. But during that time frame also we did a lot of projects like creating awareness about the waste pollution in the country. How we began actually started with Afra was working in EPR. EPR is Environmental Protection Agency in Maldives.
It's like a governmental organization?
It's a governmental organization. It's under Ministry of Environment.
Mm-hmm.
So he started realizing that since he's working there, he started seeing that we have a lot of issues with waste and nobody's actually doing anything about it. And we were like, let's just create awareness, let's just do something, like both of us can actually start something and create awareness, and that's what's lacking actually here. Like nobody, the thing about is I think you may know about Tilafushi, the
Yes.
island of waste, right?
Yeah, the big trash bin.
Yeah, the big trash bin. Yeah. So the thing about waste is when we throw waste, it just goes into another island and we don't really see it. So what you don't see, it's like if you don't see it, the problem is not there, right?
Yes. But I think in Poland is also the problem, like you throw the trash, you segregate it, and then you push the responsibility on someone else. You don't see those trash, it's not my problem anymore.
Yeah, that's how it works here. Actually, we don't even segregate here. It's all mixed waste.
Mm-hmm.
So we started creating awareness, and we actually our first works were with Soneva Namona.
Mm-hmm.
Soneva Fushi, they have an NGO called Namona.
Mm-hmm.
So we started working with them, and they have this project called Namona Ba, where they start to segregate. They create awareness and start a waste management facility in the Ba atolls.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ba atoll, these are the north ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Malos. Have you heard about Malos? Daravandu, Kihadu.
Daravandu, yes. I
Yeah.
just came back from there. I was
Yeah.
there today.
Yeah. So now they have extended the project to Nuno Atoll as well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the project is about creating awareness with the locals, like telling them, showing them the waste that they produce, and actually segregating it in an island level.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because what I noticed that all the waste management is very island or atoll. I don't know how to say it. It's very specific for different island and atoll because it depends mostly on the regional island council or atoll council what they actually do. Am I right?
Yeah. And the thing is, even when like you have traveled around Maldives and you know how we have to travel and how difficult it is sometimes to travel from one place to another, right?
Yes.
Like you cannot travel from one island to another island through like from airplane. You would have to come to the central and then go back to the island that you want. So it's a bit of a hassle. And with waste, what happened is they from these islands, even from the north and the south, they just bring the trash to Tilafushi by sea. And now you see where the problem is. That's how like the trash also ends up in the ocean.
In the ocean, blown by the wind or thrown by the people.
Yeah. So it wasn't a very effective method of collecting waste as well. So recently they did start, but collecting waste in an island level where the waste is managed. But they don't actually. We are actually going. I think until recently we were going for a linear economy method of managing waste.
Which means
they were going to incinerate it. So we have an incineration facility in Vandu, which doesn't actually work.
Great.
So they're going for waste to energy, but actually it doesn't really work in the context of the environment in Maldives. Because we cannot actually produce the amount of waste that they need to incinerate because we are a small country. And at the same time, we are calling to phase out plastic, which is by 2023 we are trying to phase out plastic. The government is trying to
ban single-use plastic.
Single-use plastic.
Yes. How is that working? How is that going?
They have announced it, but little to nothing has been done to actually implement it. So they did have a framework of which products would be banned and when it would be banned. And right now I think the only thing that has banned was like we haven't actually seen anything being banned, right?
Yeah, I haven't. I remember a few months ago in a resort we were told that soon we will have to stop using the single-use water bottles because during pandemic that was the way they figured out is most healthy to use the plastic bottles. But that was a couple of months ago, and so far nothing has changed. And the same like sunscreens or those little cosmetics, they're everywhere in a resort. It would be hard for me to think what would be the alternative they would offer.
So they're supposed to ban certain things right now even, but it hasn't been implemented yet. Like by this year December they're supposed to, if I remember correctly, those are the bottles that needs to be banned, but 500 milliliter bottles.
Half a liter.
Half a liter.
And what about the plastic bags in shops?
Plastic bags are also supposed to be banned, and they're gonna introduce a bit thicker plastic bags so that it doesn't like break down into microplastic later on. I'm actually very bad with the details, but if you're like, you have seen, we have done a very good post about which would be banned when on our Instagram as well, so that people are aware of it. But like you can see now as well, like it doesn't seem like they're gonna ban. It doesn't seem like we are a country who's gonna be phasing out single-use plastic soon. We are not acting like it. So that's the huge issue, I suppose. Like the government is trying to do something about the single-use plastic, but at the same time they're trying to do something that conflict with that idea, like introducing incineration. So we have been fighting about it. We have been talking to the government authorities, asking them to go for a circular economy where the waste could be used as a resource. Like there are a lot of things that we could do. Like if we consider fabric, we could upcycle the fabric and make new things. And in some islands, they have already started like using waste as a resource, like in bar atoll. And I understand, like since we are like our country is like segregated into like different atolls, like it's a bit difficult to get resources, and we aren't as developed as Poland, perhaps. So all of our food products are also, most of our food products are imported as well. So we need to find a solution where, I mean, we do produce locally, but
not in enough scale.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we need to move forward. I think we need to start introducing new methods to produce enough for us. And I think as a society we are very much reluctant to change our habits, and that's the reason mostly why we can't actually resolve this waste problem, I suppose.
And you as an organization, what do you do for like the change of the mentality or education?
We, like I mentioned before, we do awareness sessions as well as we collaborate with government to like make policy changes. And right now we are working on EPR, extended producer responsibility making the framework of it with a think tank called Adelphi. So we are doing a collaboration with them to present the government with a framework for EPR so that we can implement that here. But I don't know how that's gonna go, but we are hopeful.
And do you do any like workshops with schools and children to educate like the youngest generation?
We do try to get into the education system, but right now it's a little bit difficult to get into the education system. We have to be I think I don't know what the issue is, but it's not as easy as going to islands. Like if the islands if the council arranges something, then we are able to get into the schools with the help of them, but in the capital it's a little bit difficult.
Okay.
So we have to communicate with the Ministry of Education, and then they kind of have to police what we say as well, change our tones as well. So it was a bit difficult. We tried to get students for a climate strike in 2019, and the response we got from Education Ministry was, it could have been better.
Okay. So there's not a lot of interest from the government side.
They seem like they're interested, but the action says otherwise.
Okay. Well, very, very diplomatic. Yes. And is there anything, because for example, when the zero waste awareness and movement started in Poland or some other countries I visited, the first things they were talking about were plastic bottles, food containers, cutlery, plastic straws, or cosmetics, to, instead of using those made out of plastic, to use those more natural one, like in paper or metal or reusable. Is it possible actually to do that here in Maldives as well?
Actually, it is possible. Like, if we go back a few years, like 10 years ago, not 10 years, maybe like when our parents were young, somewhere around that, I think the habits were more, we weren't into disposables. We used what we had, like reusables, like the cutleries that we use at home, the metal ones, and it was okay. But once the disposables entered into our economy, then people started seeing it as a convenience. They don't have to wash it.
Yes.
And we happen to grow in a very lazy society right now. I feel like
it's not only Maldives. It's not only Maldives, I can assure you.
So we are trying to do everything. I don't know whether it's convenient for us when we end up producing a lot of waste. It isn't convenient. So we started to make things convenient, air quoted convenient. So, but I think we can still go back to that, like using reusables, and even with the water bottles, it's very simple, like having your own water bottle. And and the issue in our society, even in Mali, is that we cannot refill it in anywhere. Like
there's no places, like public places to refill the water.
And we also have another project that focuses more on water, having public water refill stations, and we are also introducing making, since people aren't very what can I say, like they don't really like to use the tap water here. And
why is that? Because the tap water is you can drink it, right? But
we can actually drink it, but then I think somewhere around earlier there was a misconception that since the chlorine test was a bit
too strong.
So there was a misconception about it as well, and there was mixed messages. So people started not using the tap water
for drinking.
And I've, like, most of my life I've used tap water, and I've, like, from tap water then I changed to using tap water filtered, and right now we are using a filter. So we are trying to make it to make people start using the tap water. We are trying to introduce the water filters, and the project that this project is called the Femveshi project, that we are doing it with Commons's. Have you heard about the Commons's NGO?
No, tell me more.
Yeah, so we're doing it with Commons's, partnered with Commons's. This Femveshi project is about introducing water filters to households. Like we'll be giving out to 25 households, 25 filters to each household, and making it, normalizing the use of filters, tap water, and then introducing water refill stations in the public areas in Greater Mali. So that's how we're going to start it, and hopefully we are going to expand it to the islands as well.
Okay, so you hope by introducing those, the public refilling water station and the water filters, that will help to reduce the use of the plastic bottles.
Yeah, we hope so.
You hope so?
Yeah.
Okay. And is it expensive to install the filter at the home?
I think everything, like if you look into if you're going for a zero waste lifestyle, everything is an investment, right? The first time that you buy it, it's going to be expensive, but if you divide the cost to maybe like 10 years, it's a bit cheaper.
Am I right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was like 4,500 Maledivian rupiah?
4 to 6,000 rupees. 4K to 6K, yeah.
Yeah, which is in dollars, more or less.
In dollars, I have to calculate.
Yeah, let's use the calculator. It's $4.5, $200?
Yeah, I think
$200, $300?
about that. Yeah, $200 to $300.
And how long does the one filter last for?
It actually depends on how many people uses it. So we have
Average.
For us, it has been like more than 2 years now.
Yeah,
we
for
use
one
it.
filter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a huge.
It's just the two of us. So
Yeah, but it's a huge saving.
Yeah.
In perspective of those years, right?
Yeah, it is. So every time we introduce even the products, like we have like awareness sessions for menstrual cups, the reusable cloth pads, and that's also a partnership with UNFPA. And even during those sessions, what we talk about is that if you buy it, it might be a lot
At the beginning,
but when you divide it, like a cup can be used for 10 years, and if you divide that it becomes very little.
Yes.
Yes.
And how is the, because I imagine those workshops you do only with women, right?
Yeah.
How is the, how is their attitude towards that? Like, is it resentful? Is it very distant? Like,
It's not resentful, really. I would say that, like, talking about period menstruation is
taboo.
Yeah. So people really don't like to talk about it, and it's very sad to say that most of the women doesn't even know their anatomy. Like, they don't know how their reproductive system is, how it is, and how it works. So it's actually very sad to say that, but at the same time, I think they are open about knowing more about their body and what they can use. So there might be a hesitance towards changing to a menstrual cup. I understand that, because we aren't used to inserting things to our body, right? So that's there, but reusable pads, that's an option they can go for as well. So I'm hoping they would change. I think we have managed to change a couple of, like, maybe 100. That's a lot for us.
That's a lot in a country where it's a big taboo.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. And is there any other zero waste approach you are trying to implement? So we talked about water, we talked about the menstruation cups, a little bit about the plastic.
Yeah. EPR, right? Those three are the main ones that we are doing right now, and I think then the biggest thing that we did with the waste management is the Sonewa with the Namonaba project. What we did was, like, we stayed in Malos. They were implementing the waste management facility in Malos, and we did a survey with the locals. It was a really small island, so we were able to cover all the households. So we did a survey with the help of some kids in the island, and we tried to gather how they see the issue of waste and how welcoming they are to actually segregate it, and then how welcoming they are for segregation, like at homes.
Is there any segregation?
There is.
There is?
There is right now. There is, like, in those islands with in Namonaba project, those islands are they have changed.
Oh, okay. Because in many resorts, I saw that there were those, like, different trash bins for glass, paper, metal, and then mixed waste. And then some of my local colleagues, they were telling me that at home they just segregate for, like, anything organic, like food waste, and then another one is whatever other trash, but the food waste is thrown to the ocean.
Yeah. That's done in most of the islands now, and it's like they just tag the food waste, but along with the food waste they will say plastic bags.
Yeah, the
and
tea bags which have
tea
plastic
bags.
inside.
That's something that they don't know about. Like they don't know that these, even the cups, the reusable, the paper cups.
Yeah, they still
don't-
have a layer of plastic.
Yeah. That's something they don't know. So we've been trying to educate people with within the social media as well about that. In even cigarette butts, they have
Yes. Except plastic, they have loads of poisons inside and toxins.
so and these noodles packets, those wrappers,
Yes.
and it's thrown with these organic food waste, and that they have this I think they have this netted area where they throw the waste, food waste, and then they say that the net would protect the plastic or the wrappers going into the ocean, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it doesn't. Okay. And tell me a little bit more about supari. Supari is a traditional mix of nuts and spices and leaves and all this stuff, right? And it's from what I can see, it's always after in the restaurants, or my local friends would have it just after a meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then cigarette or whatever order it is.
So with the supari, like you said, in our culture, it's a very ingrained habit, like having supari.
Just to chew and
Yeah. And you would see, it's really common to see the wrappers lying around on the road and things like that. I've heard that the drains get clogged easily with these tiny supari packets.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of them here.
Yes.
And to tackle with that, the government has, since we are phasing out single-use plastic, they have asked that the supari can be only sold in bottles, glass bottles. And now some has changed to glass bottles.
Okay. How big is the bottle? Because the one packet is like really tiny. It's like
There'll be a lot of packets in it. I think like my hand size.
the bottle would be like your
bottle,
hand
yeah.
size. Okay.
And since I don't have supari, I don't really know much about the
Sure.
yeah. So hopefully we won't be seeing supari packets.
That was the most common trash I've seen on local islands.
Beside the plastic bottle, right?
Yes. Well, plastic bottles, plastic is bigger than the supari packet, and the supari packet, they're just so light. Even if you throw them to the trash, the wind will just blow them to the ocean.
Yeah.
And then I dive, and it's like supari packet, supari packet, supari packet.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Like even like you said, like even on the road, you see a lot of them. Yeah. I just think because it's just small, they just throw it away. I don't know why we do that.
I guess it's like a habit.
Yeah, and you don't see like waste bins here, right?
No,
Not much.
actually not. I see them in the resorts, at the airport. But I've been to a couple of local islands and Male, and I haven't seen the trash bins.
They did have like around, I think 2014 or 2015. I wasn't here in Maldives at that time, but they did have bins. And I heard that they had to remove the bins because of vandalism.
Vandalism. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Trash bins were provoking.
yeah.
Okay. And can you tell me how did COVID-19 influence the environmental protection and zero waste in Maldives?
Regarding waste, I think
Yes.
COVID-19 pandemic actually, the waste got it didn't actually help the waste issue. It created more.
Yes. Like the face mask, the gloves.
And like you'll see face mask on the road, in the beaches, and in the sea even. I go for swimming in the swimming track here in the capital. So I could even see like some times when I'm swimming, one of the masks would like slide into my fingers, and I'm like, ugh, this is disgusting. Like,
Yeah.
so
It is not disposed.
it's not disposed like well. Even medical waste isn't disposed well here.
Yeah. Few days ago, I was walking on a beach on a local island, and I found a syringe with a needle. It's like, wow, that's great.
It's not disposed like responsibly. Yeah. So with the face masks have been like a huge issue, and then like in quarantine facilities we deliver food in these styrofoam packs. Those has increased as well. So
Yes.
all the single-use disposables have increased, and then there was a boom in home food places as well during the pandemic, and then people started to even for us, we even started to like, we saw these pages with so many good food, and we started ordering out, so that created a lot of waste as well. So
How about swapping them for like those paper version?
in some those like the silver line foil.
Well,
ones.
that one, the silver aluminum foil, but also those, they kind of look like the styrofoam boxes, but they're made out of paper. Or is
Yeah,
there
yeah,
an extra layer of plastic in those as well?
I'm not sure, but there are these compostable ones as well.
Yes. But it's not a big percentage of them, right?
Yeah, not here. But few of them have approached us asking like what we think about those compostable ones. But the thing about with the compostable is that is also a disposable, single-used one, right? And when it comes to compostable, like let's say a compostable plastic bag, like those, the ones that are made from what's it called, like the taro.
Taro?
Yeah. That was this
From some plant. Taro is a veg, yeah.
Yeah. So if we start using that, people would start littering the environment with these, like saying these would compost, like we could throw it.
Yeah, but that's not the idea.
That's not the idea, but this is the mentality in the Maldives. Like it's really hard to change the habits, like for them to actually care about the environment. I think this might be a flaw in our education system. I feel like we should be able to have another Greta Thunberg here, like a Maldivian.
Yes.
But we don't see it here.
Yeah.
And it's very sad to say that. Like, so yeah, this, I think throwing out trash to the environment is a huge issue. Like we are not responsible for our trash. That's the main issue here in Maldives. So with these compostable ones, that's how we see it. Like it would create a littering. It would just
Plastic takes a while to
decompose,
right? And just like getting close to the end, it's my second year in Maldives, and on my social media I often show some nice parts of the Maldives, like resort life, beach, coconuts, dolphins, ocean, and so on. But I also show the other aspects like trash, pollution, and all the things we were talking about. And I often get the response from Europeans or Americans, my followers, being furious about what is happening, and they would comment like, why those people cannot appreciate their environment, why they cannot do anything about it, it's such a beautiful country, maybe someone should go and tell them what to do, and so on and so forth, which sounds a little bit colonialistic. But in your opinion, why we cannot use the same measurements, and why we cannot compare one-to-one European countries and their environmental protection, zero waste approach, and Maldives? What is the main difference, and why it doesn't make sense to compare those?
I feel like the waste issue is a global issue. So even in Poland or like in other European countries, like the waste issue would be something that's really hard to deal with, because we have to change the habits of the people, like, and that's out of our control. Like it's very individualistic, like to change their habits. And with Maldives, and the thing about Maldives and other European countries is that I think that because we are a small country, and the geographical setting of our country is very different to how other European countries are. So that plays a huge role in tackling this issue here in Maldives. Since, like I mentioned earlier, that the waste is actually transported by sea, but in European countries it could be transported
by land.
And it.
Plus, you have you're in the middle of the ocean. There's loads of currents bringing trash from all over the world, and it happens to end up on your beach, but it doesn't have to be your trash.
Exactly. Like we have had trash even our trash has landed to Australia. So there's it's a global issue, and I feel like we cannot actually blame one country to another country. Like it's something that we all have to do together. So, and it's not that we don't know what to do. We actually know what to do, and we have experts here, like local experts here who knows how to take care, knows how to deal with the issue here in a local context. But the thing is, as I feel like this is very common in other countries as well, that the government plays a huge role in this. So we need 100% government support to actually establish something like a zero waste society, maybe, or manage the waste in a responsible way than just incinerating it.
Yes, that's true.
And you have seen open burning in islands as well.
Yes, of course.
And Tilafushi is a open burning land, and
it's always burning. There's always smoke. But I was a few days ago in Mafushi, the same thing.
Yeah, Mafushi is really bad as well.
Yeah, very touristy, but because of
they have another area where
because of that they create a lot of trash, and that's they don't segregate.
Apparently the burning has been stopped in Tilafushi, it seems, but we have to confirm that.
Yes.
And it's not actually the waste actually leads to other issues as well. The open burning leads to health problems, and it's really difficult to, because of how the wind direction changes. Sometimes the smell of the waste burning is in the capital or like in the other islands, close by islands as well, and kind of causes respiratory problems here. So it's a bigger issue, and we need I feel like we need everybody to be in the same page, on the same page.
All hands on deck.
Yeah, to tackle this. So it's not that we don't know how beautiful our country is, it's just that we still haven't figured out how to manage it together.
Yes. So if someone would like to know more about your organization, where should they search for information?
They could check our Instagram. So we are very active on Instagram. We do
Zero Waste Maldives.
Zero Waste Maldives. We have
very nice website.
very nice website.
I already visited it many times.
And you'll get a lot of information from there, and you can read our publications on it. And we do have Facebook page as well, but we are not that active on Facebook.
Okay. And is there any way other people from Poland or somewhere else can somehow support you and help your organization and Maldives?
I guess, yeah, they can. Like, we'll have to see how they want to actually help it. So they could just send us a DM or visit our website, and they'll find our contacts. It's info@zerowastemaldives.com. So they could send us an email. We'll respond.
Yes. And you're searching for volunteers.
And we are searching for passionate volunteers.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much for your time. We've been talking for over 40 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I was swapping to Polish now.
Yeah, right.
Dziękuję wszystkim za Wasz czas, że znaleźliście ponad 40 minut na odsłuchanie tego podcastu na temat zarządzania odpadami, zero waste i ochrony środowiska na Malediwach. To na pewno nie jest ostatni tego typu podcast. Więcej informacji i materiałów pojawi się u mnie na social media. Zachęcam Was do śledzenia mnie na Instagramie, Facebooku, na moim blogu oraz subskrybowania moich podcastów, żebyście na bieżąco wiedzieli, co się u mnie dzieje i gdzie jestem. Dziękuję bardzo. Pa!